Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. We've got a bunch of great sales today, but we also have a topic that I want to talk about. It's been a little shift in the economic landscape, I guess, let's say. And we're going to talk about how that might affect us in Q4 or maybe even beyond that. But we got some awesome items. Let's go take a look. And, sorry. In addition to the story that I want to talk about today, I want to talk about the economy a little bit and a preview of Q4. Hey, that reminds me, y'all. Q4 should be upon us. Is the date, right, when this video comes out? If it's not, it's really, really close here. So don't forget to use your eBay coupon if you have that eBay store where you get that $50 coupon. And in addition to that, I want to talk about I think it's probably a top 5 sale today. We sold something for a bunch of money. And it's been in the store for a while, so I'm excited about that and sharing that with you. This is a Zippo lighter, Marine Corps Zippo lighter. It is a vintage one, and they usually do pretty good. This one sold for $34.95 plus shipping. And I paid $1 for that one, and this next item I just bought last weekend, and I paid $1 for this one as well. I bought 3 of them. It was like one of those yard sales that just brought everything out in bins, and just people had to dig through everything, and I'm glad, because I showed up like at 11:30 because it was way out of my way. And I found 3 vintage Care Bears and charged $1 a piece. Grumpy's always a good one, and these were clean, y'all. I was so shocked to see the 83s in this good a condition. And Grumpy sold pretty quick. I put the other 2 together. This Grumpy sold for $22.95. Definitely worth. I mean, come on, y'all. Look, we're looking at 60 bucks out of $2 here. They're not massive sales independently, but you do this stuff enough, you make pretty good money. This next item might be a pretty good little entree into what I want to talk about today, and that is interest rates. Well, I gotta get this. This will probably end up being a 50-50 auction at some point. Charity auction. So here's what sold, y'all. This is sterling silver, S. Kirk and Sons sterling silver, and these 2 sterling silver plates, if you can believe it, sold for 500 bucks, $499.95 for these right here. And we've had them a long time, and we're into them for very, very little. You're out at yard sales and you look at this stuff all the time and you think it's silver plate, and you always ignore it, which I am guilty of sometimes, but every once in a while you come across something and it's like, oh my goodness. These 2 right here, $499.95 plus shipping. So my sales numbers had actually been rolling along for 3 weeks in a row. The percentage goes up every week, and I'm like month over month up 70-some%. And then the sales velocity kind of slowed down as far as numbers of sales. But when you throw in a $500 sale, the numbers still go up, which is really cool. But this is a great opportunity to look at what's been going on lately, and you've seen kind of surprising drop. You know, we expected to see smaller increments of drops in the interest rates, but we had a little bit bigger one than we thought we'd see. Whenever I talk about interest rates and all this stuff, the Federal Reserve and all that, people get bent out of shape. I'm not making any comments whatsoever about whether America should have a Federal Reserve system and all. I'm just addressing the issues and how it might affect resellers. So there has been an interest rate cut. What's the base rate now? 4.75, I guess, to 5%. So this is a half point interest rate drop, which most people are expecting a 1/4 point. And I think, and it may seem like such a small amount, but it's actually a big, big difference in how much capital people have to spend. And that always, always affects consumers. I want to talk about that a little bit today. Not that it's going to change our world by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want to get into the politics of it and all that stuff. To be honest with you, I just want to deal with just that interest rate and how that kind of stuff affects what we're doing. This is a square rigger bag. It's a pretty nice bag, actually, and nice zipper on it, and these go pretty well. I bought this at that crazy good outdoor sale. I am totally in the pure profit at this point. But this square rigger one, I took an offer on it, actually, because I have made so much money off of this sale. $32.95 plus shipping. Now, of course, we've gone through a long period of inflation that's higher than usual. to say the least, and that has slowed a little bit, of course. Now, this does two things. This energizes some folks because they know what you're going to see out there is you're going to see people refinancing the higher rates that they got, whatever, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And you're going to see people with capital to make purchases. And so it definitely is going to be an influx. Basically, you're getting cheaper money into the economy. And there is going to be an influx of capital. It doesn't happen immediately, but it does happen fairly quickly. And when you see that, if people's pocketbooks were kind of shrinking a little bit, and it may affect sales in Q4. Now there's this opening. I think as Q4 goes on, you're going to see a little bit more capital out there, and you may see sales go up. Now, this is not me reading the tea leaves. This is just basic economics, what typically happens. Is it going to be a massive change? No, I don't think so. And there also might be ramifications in the future because this attacking inflation, they've basically just said with this full point here, that we can't attack inflation anymore, and they're really opening the door for more of it down the road. But that's neither here nor there. Does this stuff have an effect on the way you do business? I would say yes. It definitely does have an effect, and it probably will. You will probably see small effects in your eBay business going forward. This kind of stuff, small percentage points, but on huge scale, releases capital into the economy. There are other ways to do that as well. I think most of us, if we can be honest with ourselves and kind of get rid of our political bias for a few minutes, we'd realize that if you have low interest rates and it's coupled with massive increases in government spending, which is what you saw during the pandemic, there will be ramifications down the road, and we've suffered through those ramifications. You can argue whether it was right or wrong to do what we did, but there certainly were inflationary ramifications. I don't know that this will quite spark that kind of inflation, but at some point you will see inflation come back if one of the two things don't stop. And it's highly, highly unlikely that the government is all of a sudden going to put the brakes on their spending. So those are two of the factors that drive inflation. Of course, there are others, so don't get on your high horse in the comments, but those two are main drivers. When you release a lot of capital into the markets by lowering those lending rates, you're going to see, eventually, you're going to see inflation unless you have a recessionary economy. And that's nothing any of us want. So here's a Kate Spade purse in really good shape, or purse, wallet. And this one sold for $24.95 plus shipping. Now, those things could be good for eBay resellers and just any retailer, any seller. At any point, you don't want a constricting money supply because deflation is sometimes far worse than inflation. But I don't want to get into all that. I will say this, though. Last time I did a video on this, somebody made a comment. There's multiple people like, oh, we shouldn't worry about how much debt people are in, and we shouldn't worry about this. People will always, the more debt, the more credit available, the more things you sell and whatever. That's a dangerous way to think. Eventually, and we don't always see it, and we haven't lived through it, but eventually those are the things that bring down economies over time. There is always a price to pay for cheap and easy money. And if you are somebody who's living on a fixed income, you know that because your income is fixed and the prices continue to go up. So there are some negative ramifications to it. And let's face it, if you got money sitting somewhere, you got a pile of, $100,000 sitting right here, and all it's doing is sitting right there. It's becoming worth less and less and less every single day if inflation goes back and spikes, and yet to be seen if it will. But people will always find places to put their money. Usually, if we're talking about massive amounts of money, they usually won't be in consumer goods. But let's face it, a lot of people are undisciplined, and they will buy consumer goods if they have that free capital out there. And so I think you will see a net plus because of this interest rate drop, even in our little businesses. Here's an odd little sale. This is the Osborne Brothers, and it's signed up there, to my friend. And it's not even in great shape, so for $9.99 plus shipping. So money just became a little bit cheaper and easier to come by for some people. And like I said, I think you will see people spend because of that. Now, it's not going to have a massive effect on a macro level. That stack of cash over there, people don't like the fear. When you see things like this, you start thinking of the fear of that stack of cash becoming the buying power of that stack of cash going down over time. And inflation, you know, usually follows that kind of economic policy, depending on the other circumstances. But if you have the other pieces in place, you will see that, and it's always a lagging effect. You know, we spent all that money during the pandemic and lowered rates and did all that stuff, and the effect wasn't immediate. The effect comes down the road a little bit, and we certainly saw it. So those are some fears. But people will take that money, and you can't just let it sit there. You got to find places. That's why the housing market went nuts, because you had to find places to put your money where it wasn't losing value. That's why the stock market's gone up. There's all kinds of reasons like that where people take their massive amounts of cash that they don't even have. You know, not that we all have massive amounts of cash here, but some people do. And for the rest of the folks, normal folks out there that have their money, now it's a little bit easier to come by, and you might spend it. At Christmas time, if credit is cheaper, money is cheaper, you might spend it a little bit easier than if it was harder to come by and you still, you know, you're still suffering the ramifications of the inflation that came the last few years. Yeah, I forgot to mention a sale, the Doughboy sale the other day. The Doughboy was sitting right there, and it sold for $3.95 plus shipping on Dibdit.com, and it went to Kathy. I know there are a lot of folks who'd love to see that interest rate come down. My boy is one of them, because he's bought a piece of property and they want to build on it. They want to get an interest rate that they can get in there and afford that stuff. So he was pretty pleased that that interest rate went down for sure. The folks that got those loans when those interest rates were a little higher a little while back, they're very happy to see it. A lot of folks out there been in their houses for a while have pretty low interest rates like we do. So it doesn't really affect us that much. But, you know, it does. It's a big deal to a lot of folks. I mean, just think of all the folks out there with high interest car loans and whatever, and you're going to be shaving off a little bit. There's going to be a little bit more money for consumers out there. And check it out. I wonder if I have two of these. I don't think I do. I sold one of these Tupperware. They don't go for a lot of money, but I'd pick them up when they're cheap. If they have lids, they go for a lot more. This one went for $14.20 plus shipping, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this one might not be the right one, because that is blue and that looks like it's red. Looks like it's the only one I see in there, so we're gonna contact the buyer. It is a viewer, actually. So I think maybe I've mixed up the two. They're identical, that just one has blue on it, one has red on it. So I must have made a mistake somewhere down the road. So Melissa, my apologies. I'm gonna ship this off to you, and if you don't like it, I'll refund all your money. You can keep it. Love the videos of you finding treasure. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate that very much. This little Nana Lee Christmas stocking thing. And I talk about Anna Lee all the time, but I don't want people to get the wrong idea. A lot of it is just kind of money. And, you know, that's pretty big. I mean, it's soft. It's easy to ship, but this one sold for $19.95 plus shipping. There's a lot of it goes for good money, though. So tell me what you think. Do you think the Fed dropping, you know, monetary policy, dropping the rate down, do you think it's going to have a negative effect on Q4? Do you think it's going to have a positive effect on Q4? Do you think it's going to have no effect at all on Q4? Do you think that might come in Q1? Do you think there'll be negative ramifications in the return of inflation in, say, Q1, Q2 of next year? Not that inflation's gone away, but you get the point. It definitely has slowed from the record numbers we were seeing. So tell me what you think without getting too political. I'm trying not to get political about this. This is just talking about eBay business here. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I got this Peter Pan shirt in here earlier, and so I didn't have to run in there all the time. I just remembered it while I was in there. We had 3 of these, y'all. And this was the second one that sold, this Peter Pan vintage. The pockets are in the front. I mean, how cool is that thing? Old Peter Pan. And this one sold for, this one went out on offer, so 5% off offer. And it sold for $14.20 plus shipping. Still have one more to go. You know, there's a lot of folks out there who, and I don't suggest it, but they live their whole lives on revolving credit. And when they have a chance to refinance a house and take equity out or something, and they pay down those credit cards, and then they start the whole process over again. And they are consumers again because there's some expendable capital. So 3634 Smith's Workwear. Not high-end stuff here, but still a seller. $34.95, or excuse me, $24.95 plus shipping. I love selling little tiny portable radios. They don't usually go for a lot, but I loved radio so much when I was a kid. I could not fall asleep. I had some anxiety issues when I was little, like 10, 11, 12, 13. And I just loved the radio. It gave me something to do, listen to talk radio, Angels baseball games, music. And I eventually would go to sleep when I was little. So I'd sleepwalk and all kinds of stuff. $14.95 plus shipping for this one. And it says repeat buyer Laura. And so I didn't see a message on there. By the way, if y'all leave me a message in the regular messaging system, I usually don't read it because there's so many. But if you leave it on the purchase, this is just a little plain Jane Sony radio. Nothing amazing weather radio, TV weather radio. And it sold for $14.95 plus shipping. That reminded me of something. Actually reminded me of two things. I'll do them real quick. So I sold this Liberty hoodie. It's like sublimated hoodie. It's not like high end with stitching and all that stuff, but paid $1 for it. Sold for $18.95 plus shipping. The reason I don't have it is because they requested that I send it out quickly. And I told them yes, and then I totally forgot, and then I just had to ship it real quick and get it to the post office. So that sale. But the other way is I forgot to do last week an 80stees.com giveaway. So there you go. I'm going to do it on the same one we did last time because I forgot and I just have to do it right now. 80stees.com. Y'all go check them out. We're going to give this shirt away in your size. Just put, last time we did McFly. Let's do, I don't know, let's put Marty. Put Marty in the card. No, let's do this. Let's put Emmett. Put Emmett down there in the comments. That was my grandfather's name, believe it or not, Emmett Brown. Doc. So you put Marty down there. No, what did I just say? I'm losing my mind. Put Emmett down in the comments below, and we'll pick a winner, and I'll announce it on a show, a couple shows from now. And then you guys can contact me once I tell you who won. And then I'll put you in contact with 80stees.com, and you can tell them the size you want, and we'll ship this. I won't. They will. Ship it to you. Go check them out. Code Commonwealth. Get you 35% off. 80stees.com. Another LU sale. I bought these for $1. These LU socks, $1 a piece, and decided to sell them together and sold them for $20. So 2 into 20 plus shipping. That should be around, I don't know, about a $15. Is that right? 2, 18. For about a $14 profit on those. I don't know what it is about cowboy stuff, but good, bad, or ugly, their stuff still sells. And this is a Build-A-Bear cowboy in good condition, $19.95 plus shipping. By the way, I want to give a thank you for all those of you who came over last week to our first Shop Commons, shopcommons.net live auction where we sold wholesale lots of stuff that I've been buying. It was a big success for the first run through. Big thanks to Eric OBX Picker, Tim over the years, Turnox Connections, J-Ride. And it was really, really good time. We just shipped it out of here, $900 worth of stuff, 20 auctions. And I think a lot of people got some pretty good deals in some of those sales. So hopefully that helps some of the resellers out there. We're selling lots that are intended to go to resellers, where folks like me who buy way more than I need can pass that on and make a profit, and let there be some margin on the other end for the other folks. So big thanks to all of you who have come over to shopcommons.net. Appreciate it. Anybody like me out there, when you see a table full, it's got 4 or 5 cameras, and you ask them how much and they say $1 a piece, and you just scoop them all up? And sometimes you end up with a loser, but most time you do okay. And this one wasn't amazing, but it is a cool picks in good condition. I think I gotta double check, make sure this is the right one, because, oh, it is. It's the right one. And this one sold for $20 plus shipping, so $1 into 20. It's not too bad. All right, y'all, we got Turner with some Commonwealth comedy, but I hear some puppies whining outside, tracking in some mud, I'm sure. All right, Turner's got some Commonwealth comedy for you. What's your joke?
What do you call 47 people sitting around a TV watching the Super Bowl?
What do you call 47 people sitting around a TV watching the Super Bowl? I don't know. What do you call them?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, we made a lot of people mad out there. Chris the Goose, probably. We made Mountain Man Treasure mad. Well, we made some people mad out there. All right. Thank you, Turner.
Bye.
You might remember from a couple videos ago, I mentioned that I bought my first storage unit with my buddy Joey Pinjo Thrift, and it was not exactly a huge one or anything. We weren't investing a lot of money, $60 actually. And this is the first item that's sold on eBay from it. And he's got a lot of them too. And so we've split the unit up. And we've got some gold on auction right now. It should be ending here somewhat soon, I guess. And these are things I would not probably have looked at. Well, that's not true. I bought this kind of stuff before. But because they were in there, I decided to scoop them all up. They're like bamboo kind of place. They're like you put your paper plates in them, I guess. Or maybe they're wall decoration. I don't know. But they were certainly something I knew would sell. But I didn't think they'd sell quite this quickly. $16 for these plus shipping. Next one I was going to say is our third viewer sale of the day. However, it's not. It's actually still the second viewer, but she bought 3 things. So this one right here, I lost the video where I bought this last year. It was part of that footage that we lost, unfortunately. That was a fun sale. This one sold for $29.95, which is kind of low for these, to be honest. Some of these with the keys can go for good money. I love this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff I would sit up in my classroom and all the different shelves and stuff and old phones and all kinds of stuff, and kids they'd just be interested in them. And I'd use them. Hey, nope. Well, look at what y'all are doing. You're bad puppies. That's no. That's, I don't know why I even have that thing in here. Anyway, Laura bought this, and she had also bought that radio. She also bought this sweet looking robot. How cool is that? I got that in a lot from FleetCon. And over on Dibdit. And this, what does it say? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Wind Up Robot Space Raider. And it sold for $14.95 plus shipping. Next item is one of those things that I love to pick up. And people always are like, why are you wasting your time on this? And I'll tell you why I'm wasting. Well, I don't think it's a waste of time. And let me see. We just got them in here. They sold quick. And I thought they'd be... Wait, did I put them back there, maybe? Nope, there they are. So it's these... They're Bakelite handles. It is a... I didn't even know what this was, but I pick up these can openers often. So what did the guy tell me? I asked him what it was. It is a knife sharpener. I guess I should have known that. With Bakelite handles. And I paid $1 for them. And the reason I did is because I knew I'd just probably sell them together. This might only be like a $9, $9.95 slow sell-through rate one right there. But with this, I could get it to sell fairly quick with that Bakelite handle. $14.95 plus shipping. And they're so easy. Didn't have to do anything. Lay it down, snap a picture, list it, ship it, easy. And you get it all done in like 5 minutes and you make more than $10 profit on them. I love sales like that. Plus, it's small. So tell me what you think. Is it going to have a big effect? Is it going to have no effect? We'll try to, like I said, try to leave politics out of it for just a second. I know that's hard, but we can try. And I'll tell you what, hopefully your Q4 is going to get off to a good start. I'm sure for some it will, and for some it won't, and I'm hoping ours does as well. We're putting in the legwork, and all we can do is hope for the best. And thank you for all the support that so many of you have given us out there. But I just would love to hear what your thoughts are. And don't forget to go and check your eBay coupon out and get your shipping supplies right off the bat. You're going to need them for hopefully you're going to need them for Q4 anyways. So thank y'all for stopping by as always. And I can't wait to see you next time.